All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Mayum coming at you from
So
GMS
this is
Tampa
Eli.
Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Ruchah Kodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of the great millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. And I just want to do a quick video, going on this topic of the MOTB, that mark of the beast, which is spoken of in Revelations chapter 13. And there's a video circulating around of Elon Musk. And I'm going to just play the audio for y'all to listen, because really you can just hear it and understand what's going on. But I'm going to actually play two clips, one with the Mr. Beast guy, which, for those of us that are in the know, so to say, that have the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim El Shai, we hear things like that, with his name being Mr. Beast, and we immediately, our spidey senses, go off. And, there's no coincidence of why his name is Mr. Beast. And, he promotes, here it is, he's promoting this Neuralink chip. All right, but let me just play the quick clip real quick of Mr. Beast speaking on the Neuralink. All right, and just listen to how he's basically advertising it and how he's putting this how he's putting the information out there. But just take a listen.
Next, we're going with the $10,000 technology, Neuralink, which is a computer chip surgically implanted into the brain, enabling people like Nolan here to reconnect to the world.
Yeah, and for about 8 years, I was trying to find some purpose in my life.
And then you got Neuralink.
Anything anyone can do on a computer, I can do.
You are currently moving that with your thoughts.
Yeah, man.
I want to see you send a text with your brain.
Okay.
His hands are paralyzed, but we're going to film him so you can see they're not moving. He just typed hi with his mind. That's not all he can do.
Left, right, don't die.
No!
There we go. Never thought would allow me to do anything like this.
Next, we're going with the...
So, they show the guy, sending a text, moving things on a computer and playing video games, and they're hyping this thing up. Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this clip is from a larger video. There's a 23-minute video entitled $1 to, looks like $1 billion futuristic tech video, which has 78 million views. All right, and
video. I'm excited to show you.
So in this video, here's the clip of the dude with that chip. I'm just gonna play it from right here. This is the part where he's sending a text out. So I'm gonna play it from right here. And again, he's starting from $1 going all the way up to $1 billion, technology, and he's at the $10,000 mark with the Neuralink. All right, which again, we've been saying this technology that's being put out with implantable devices. This is the MOTB, or this is the lead up to the MOTB. Soon, you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have one of these devices put inside of you. Okay, and as you've seen everything go digital, including your wallets, everything being put on your phone where you can easily access your wallets. You don't have to necessarily bring your actual physical wallet. You can bring your phone, and there you have your digital wallet, which has all the cards that you so happen to put on there. And now we're starting to see countries and particular states over here in America that are creating their digital IDs. All right, so now you can add your digital ID to these wallets. All right, but this technology of the Neuralink is no different. Okay, so I'm just going to play this again. This is going to start over. This is the full video from where that clip that I just played came from. And again, this video has 78 million views. So this information is out there, man. And you already, and I'm going to play this second clip just to show you that the talk of the MOTB is out there, man. All right, for you to say that the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is something else other than the RFID microchip, then you're a goddamn bug out and a sellout, man. All right, but I'm going to play this longer form of the clip, and we'll see where it goes.
Into movements. He just typed hi with his mind. Is this not crazy to anyone else? But that's not all he can do. So you just think left, and you're about to turn left.
Left, right, don't die.
No!
There we go.
He absolutely crushed us playing with only his mind.
I never thought would allow me to do it.
And see, this is that left hand magic. Okay, is that left hand magic where you're able to control things with your mind. Okay, this is how Esau Edom is going to tempt people. He's going to persuade people to get this RFID microchip. Okay, it's through the abilities that you'll receive with getting this thing put inside of you. Okay, and as I'll play matter of fact, I'll play a third clip where Mr. Beast is talking about this Neuralink and how he's saying he wants to get it. Matter of fact, let me finish this clip and then I'll play it. Salakia.
Anything like this.
And future technology can not only help the mind, but also the body for people like Kai, a 12-year-old born without an arm and was sadly abandoned on the side of the road. This is what Kai thinks he's about to get. This is hard. And he has no idea he's in a fake doctor's office and about to get the most advanced bionic arm on the planet. A $25,000 bionic ligament straight out of a superhero movie. Let's surprise.
You see, so and the next one that it goes up to is a robotic arm. And it's around $25,000. Okay, but this is what Esau Edom wants to do. This is that fourth industrial revolution that they speak of. And let's just type this into ChatGPT. What is the fourth industrial revolution about? And let's just see what it says. Okay, because again, for those of you that have been watching and paying attention to things for the better part of the last 10 years, you should know these things. You should know what the fourth industrial revolution is about. All right, but this is what ChatGPT answered with to that question where I said, what is the fourth industrial revolution about? It says the fourth industrial revolution is about the fusion of digital, physical, and biological technologies that's changing how we live, work, and relate to each other faster and more deeply than any revolution before it. Think of it as the moment when machines don't just help humans, they learn, decide, and collaborate with us. You see? And this is what this dude, Mr. Beast, is promoting in this video. Technologies that, for this first parts of this video, you show with the Neuralink and then that robotic arm, these is what they want. This is the fourth industrial revolution being put, into your face. The Internet of Things. Okay, AI. The Internet of Bodies. Okay, implantable devices. All these things are linked together to ultimately achieve the goal of the mark of the beast, which is going to be a part of this image of the beast, which is this new world order that they're going to institute or try to institute on the earth. So that, yeah, you may be able to have certain abilities with these technologies put inside of you, but at the end of the day, you will be able to be controlled, okay, through those same technologies, which is what Esau Edom wants. Just as the Most High has control over your bodies, he's able to know everything about you, including how many hairs your body has, including your heartbeat, okay, including the pressure of your blood going through you. The Lord knows all these things, and Esau Edom wants to be able to know these things in real time as the Most High does. This is why the scriptures talk about Esau in this manner. Let's just get there real quick in 2 Thessalonians. All right, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come." What day? The day that the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach returns. It says, "It shall not come except there come on a falling away first," and that falling away happened. The Israelites forgot who they were. They fell off from being a nation. Okay, they were dispersed around the four corners of the earth, okay, through the great diaspora. Okay, they went into slavery. They started calling themselves Negroes, Latinos, Indians, Native Americans, okay, and now they're calling themselves African Americans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Jamaicans, West Indians, okay, South Americans, so on and so forth. Okay, so that already happened. And it says, "And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." And we're in those times. See, all the way up to about the 1970s, Esau Edom was working in the dark. The things that this devil was doing on the earth were hidden. But as the scriptures talk about, knowledge shall increase. As the knowledge increased, so did the knowledge of who this devil was. Because his technology started to become more apparent to the world. And people started to question whether this was of God or whether this was of the devil. Okay, to the point to where then the Lord sent his breath back into the earth to renew the spirit of his men. Okay, through Elijah, who would bring back the children back to the fathers. Okay, and the newness of mind, and what we stood up on our feet, as it talks about in Revelation chapter 11, and that brought fear to these devils. But it was too late by then. What couldn't be stopped it was already on the move. The Spirit of the Lord was already out there. So that information continued to grow, and the devil continued to be more revealed more and more as time went on till here we are in 2026, and this devil is clearly identified as being the Edomites, okay, as being the physical counterpart of Satan here on the earth. Okay, it says verse 4, and this is description. This verse 4 is describing you how this man would be, this man of sin. It says, who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God. Which is, what does he do? He's up there in the heavens, okay, with his satellites, all right, even with his space stations. They're up there in the heavens, man. Looking back down on the earth as if they were in the Most High, in the spirit world. Okay, showing himself that he is the Most High. You see, and this is what he does with his technologies. He's performing these miracles, and in Revelation chapter 13, it talks about this, how he would deceive the world with these miracles. Let's just get that real quick. Revelation chapter 13, I believe is around verse 11, but let me just double check. Yep. I'll start at verse 11. Revelations 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And again, this is that rebirth, that reincarnation of that Roman Empire. Okay, and those 2 horns is representative of the 2 different parties, just like Rome had. Rome had the patricians and the plebeians. Okay, in America, all right, which America is not just the embodiment of the whole Roman Empire, but it is the whore that rideth upon the beast, which the beast is the NATO EU nations, which America is a part of the NATO nations. Okay, but what does America have? 2 different parties. You have the 2 different parties in England. You have everywhere you go, as far as the Western nations, you have 2 distinct parties in these nations, as far as their government goes. Okay, those 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. And what was the power of the first beast? What was the power that the Roman Empire had? It was his military might. And the NATO EU nations, this is why a lot of these other nations around the world don't ever mess with the European nations or the NATO nations, because they understand that if they attack one, it's an attack on all, just as their articles state. Okay. It says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And this is all that we hear about. Rome this, Rome that, when in Rome. Okay, everything, your laws are written in Roman numerals. Okay, your months are named after Roman gods. Okay, you start your new year celebrating a Roman god, Janus, who the month of January was named after. Everything that you live, breathe here in America is Rome, man. So you worship this place, down to the architecture, man, down to the customs of the people. These are all customs that come from Rome, man, which we know when you go into the history, the Romans got it from the Greeks, and the Greeks got it from the Egyptians, and so on and so forth, man. So it goes on to say, verse 13, and he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven, those missiles, on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So see, this man has this technology to be able to perform so-called miracles, where you have a man who is paralyzed you know, I can't remember if the guy said he was paralyzed from birth or not, but where he is able to put a chip inside of him, and now he's able to do things that he could not do. He's able to send text. He's able to play video games. He's able to, be on the internet. Use computers. Oh, hey, it's gonna get to a point where he's gonna be able to just be rolling through hallways and open up doors with his mind because his device is connected to the Internet of Things, man. Okay. He'll be able to drive these cars that drive themselves with his mind. He'll be able to automatically connect to these things, man. These are things that is deceiving the people on the earth by these miracles, man. So that they should make an image to the beast, which is that new world order. And see, through these miracles, people are going to be with this new way of life that's going to be instituted on the earth because they see these miracles or these things that are taking place, these technological advances as a benefit to society. But what they don't see is the control. They don't see is their downfall. You see? And that's what this scripture is going to, because then we know what's going to be said in verses 15, 16, 17, and 18. All right? So back to this ChatGPT, it says the core idea in plain English: previous revolutions mechanized muscles, then automated tasks, then digitized information. The fourth industrial revolution connects intelligence to everything. Machines can now learn through AI, sense through the Internet of Things, decide with algorithms, act in the physical world with robots and automation, blend with biology, biotech, neural interfaces, which is the Neuralink, man. That's what the Neuralink is a biotech. Okay? And it just goes on. It goes on to name certain things, key technologies driving it: artificial intelligence, systems that learn from data and make decisions used in medicine, finance. You see, finance. Why is AI being used in finance? Why is a computer generated intelligence handling any type of finance? But see, that's why the scripture says he shall not be able to buy or sell. You see, but people don't put these two things together. It says used in medicine, finance, policing, hiring, warfare, creativity. Robots and automation are machines replacing or enhancing human labor, which is what people are talking about, right? AI, robots taking over people's jobs. It says factories, warehouses, surgery, delivery, even caregiving. The Internet of Things. It says everyday objects connected to the internet: smart homes, cities, cars, grids, and wearables. You see, all these smart TVs, these smart washers, smart refrigerators, your smart toaster, all these things that connect to Wi-Fi, including, even at my job, I'm a mechanic, diesel mechanic, and some of the tools that I buy, they have some of these newer tools, which I haven't personally bought. The tools that I bought were just before they started coming out with these internet tools. But now you can connect your tools to the internet and be able to go into your app on your phone and change certain settings on the tool so you can do different things. But again, these are things that are connected to the internet. Okay. And one day, very soon, you will be able to be connected to the internet. That's what the Internet of Bodies is about. The IOBs. So it goes on to say blockchain and digital trust. It says decentralized systems for money, contracts, identities, cryptocurrency, supply chains, digital ownership. And this is where the finance comes into play, because this is exactly what society is going towards. Okay, everything becoming digitized. You have the the United States digital currency, all right, the USDC, which is being pushed, but they have certain regulatory matters to be handled first, such as the Clarity Act. But again, these things are being pushed, to come about. All right, even gold is becoming tokenized. All right, and these are terms that those of you that be listening to these videos, man, you should be familiar with. And if you don't, you better look. You need to start looking these things up, because if not, you're not going to understand when these things get fully implemented. You're not going to fully understand them. Okay, and again, you have to understand what's happening so that you can know what to do. This is why the Lord gave us His Spirit, because the Lord understands all things. So if you have a portion of His Spirit, then you'll be able to know what to do, because you have His Spirit in you. Okay, It says biotechnology, gene editing, synthetic biology. Which with gene editing, they did that with the COVID back in 2019. They edited people's genes with them jump shots. Okay, say synthetic biology, personalized medicine, longer lifespans, ethical dilemmas. So it says 3D printing, making physical objects from digital files, local manufacturing, custom organs, housings. That says AR, VR, and human machine interfaces, blurring physical and digital reality, training, therapy, gaming, remote work, brain computer link. So all these things are all a part of this fourth industrial revolution. Things that people enjoy, things that people desire to partake in. Okay, these are all things that, and they've been painted to you as something that's cool. Look at Mr. Beast here making videos of these different technologies as if this is something that's to be enjoyed. But it's not. This is something that you should stand in fear of because you understand what it comes with. That's enough. Okay, so it says what's different from past revolutions. Say speed. Changes happen in years, not generations. Scope affects every industry at once, and depth alters identity, labor, power, and even biology. This isn't just new tools. It's a redefinition of what it means to be human in a technological world. You see? So here it goes. Big promises, medical breakthroughs. That's the miracles. Less manual labor, smarter cities and energy use, new creative and economic opportunities. The big risk, job displacement, mass surveillance, loss of privacy, algorithmic bias, concentration of power. And the concentration of power is going to be in the hands of who? The elite. Because they're the ones that are going to be in control of all this. They're going to be the only ones that aren't going to have that MOTB. You think they're going to have robotic arms? You think they're going to implant themselves with chips and so on and so forth? No. That's for you peons, man. They're going to be the ones in control of it, though. So they can control nations through this power. Okay? It says loss of privacy, algorithmic bias, concentration of power, ethical gray areas. It says the real question behind the fourth industrial revolution: who controls the technology and who benefits from it? You see? Hey, that's a spirit, because I didn't even ask that, but it's asking it itself. It says the question is why governments, corporations, philosophers, and everyday people are all arguing about it right now. If you want, and it goes on through asking me more questions, but that's the point. Why are people arguing about this right now? Well, the answer is that we're at the end of this world. Let's get this in Habakkuk chapter 2. Okay, as we talked about in 2 Thessalonians, where it said that day shall not come. What day? The day of Yahweh Shem Shai's return. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2, and we'll start at verse 2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And see, this is the vision of the end. Okay, in 2 Ezra chapter 6, chapter 5, it talks about Esau being the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Well, we're at the end of this world, this particular time period, this age that we've been living in. This is the end of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's rule. This is the end of it. We're here. And this is why we see these technologies and why these things are being brought out and why these discussions are being had, because we're at the end. Okay? And if you get this technology put inside of you, you will get put to death by the heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay? This is Revelations chapter 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So you're going to be destroyed along these nations of this world, man. Okay? That includes you Israelites as well. Those of you that want to be joined hand in hand with the wicked, you're gonna be punished alongside the wicked. Okay, so let's just play these clips that I talked about, and then we'll close out from there.
I thought Elon Musk gave you a Neuralink, bro. Because you're way too smart.
I'm
I would love one, by the way. You'll be able to make so much money that it doesn't matter how much the procedure will cost.
See, and this is all propaganda that they're pushing here. He wants to get it because he wants to. This man is a billionaire, but he's talking about making more money through a device put in his head. That man ain't gonna get no damn device, and if he does, he's an idiot. And he's only doing it to because he's being told to do it to keep his riches. Okay, so let's keep on.
Anyone would be able to afford it, essentially. Because like even if you had $0, you could just hypothetically borrow $100,000, get it. Because once you have infinite, bandwidth to unlimited knowledge, you could make unlimited money.
I thought Elon Musk.
You see, they're putting this out there like this is something that's been going to be beneficial to you, man. Let me play this other one.
So this is Elon Musk on Twitter, and he pretty much said the first ever human got Neuralink, right?
Okay.
Now, somebody put Neuralink, the name, into a gematria calculator. It's like a Greek numerology calculator.
Yeah.
Puts it in, and guess what the number is? See, I don't think it's a problem, but people find it a problem now. So people are saying that Neuralink, just like in the Bible, they say people will be implanted with the mark of the beast, which
And it's funny here he said people would be implanted with the mark because the word implanted is not in the scriptures. Now the word mark means something inserted when you go into the Greek, okay, charagma. But see how that is not that's not what he said, but that word implanted is not in there, but it is. If you get what I'm saying.
is 666.
Oh, hell no.
And since this is happening now, they say eventually everyone or a lot of people will be tempted to do it. Them getting that will be the mark of the beast. So that's like the end of times coming. So
You see? So this information is out there, man, and people are starting to come to the conclusion that this has to be the mark of the beast. And you're going to have a lot of people that are going to understand this without having the spirit of Yahushua, and they're going to ultimately fight back against this system. And it's going to lead to straight up chaos on the streets. Okay, but do they serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua? No, but they understand that this is something of the Bible, and they have a reservations about it. Okay, but it's going to come a time, like he said, they're going to be tempted by what? Through the starvation, through being ostracized from society, and they're going to ultimately be forced to get it. Because that's what's going to happen to a lot of these people that say they ain't going to get it. They're going to end up getting it when their bellies is touching their spine. Okay? But that's pretty much, the clips that I wanted to play. Lord's will is edifying. I want to give all the praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Recha HaKodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and this truth in sincerity. With that, I say Shalom.